about to go. Hello, welcome to Daddy and the Don. The Don's here with the Daddy, and we're here to give you the transfer updates. So let's go and crack on with it. So today we're going to be going through the main stories. The main headlines that we will be talking about are as follows. Gareth Nunes is set to sign for is set to sign for Liverpool an €80 million deal. This is according to Fabrizio Romano, but Man United are still interested. Sadio Mane wants to go by Munich, but Liverpool have rejected the second bid worth up to 30 million. Liverpool value him around over 40 million. Watch this space on that one. Chelsea and Inter are apparently discussing a loan move for Lukaku, which could become permanent. Apparently, Inter Milan want the deal to go through. Arsenal preparing to make a bid for Jesus. They're looking around 25 to 45 million. This has been confirmed that we are interested. The bid will be made. But the Telegraph has reported that Man City have offered Jesus to Chelsea as well. So we'll see where this goes with that one. Christian Ericsson has been offered a long-term deal by Brentford. Numerous fake reports are going around that other teams are interested. But what I've been told is that Brentford are the only team that have made an offer and the only team interested as of now. Watch this space. Hopefully he agrees the deal once he gets back from international. Lewandowski has told reporters that he wants to leave Bayern and he wants to go to Barcelona. Reports say Frankie de Jong, this is according to the Daily Mail, is going to sign for Man United. Not sure how true this is, but apparently a deal up to 67 million will be agreed soon for him to join Ten Hag at Man United. Gareth Bale is open to play for Qatar, apparently. That's according to the president of Qatar. But it looks likely that he will join Cardiff at some point in the summer. And finally, the main other story, Paul Pogba is closing in on a move back to Juventus. We'll get on that very shortly. But before we get to that, how are you, Phil? You all right?
Yeah, not bad, mate. All good. You?
Yeah, good. Before we get to the news, a few comments. Is the transfer window even open yet? Yeah, officially open today. It opened today, Jay. I was going to say that. The window is open, so deals can now officially go through. Some deals will have to wait because we set a date as the 1st of July, which we'll get to. And it should be called Graham's Premature Show. Fuck off, you prick. Anyway, Phil. Before we get to the main stories, me and Phil are going to do 10 teams each. We're going to start with Phil, and we're going to go through every club, giving them a brief story or a link that they've been with, and we're not going to repeat any of the main stories. So off to you, Phil. You go first.
So obviously starting off with Brentford, the Aaron Hickey story is still around. Not heard much since it broke, but that is someone they're in the market for. Emmanuel Dennis is being mentioned and Hull winger Keane Lewis Potter, but they will face competition from West Ham, Southampton and Bournemouth. Aston Villa, they're in for a left back, and the name of Sergio Gomez has been mentioned from Anderlecht. And you've also got Luis Suarez linking up with Steven Gerrard again, potentially in the striker position. Chelsea, big news coming yesterday. Raheem Sterling is apparently available, looking to leave, but the price is only 2-1 for him to actually leave, so it probably won't happen. But Chelsea are the name being linked, as well as Real Madrid. They're also in for Ibrahim Senghir and Jules Koundé from Monaco, who they were linked with last year, but the names obviously resurfaced again. Everton, a lot of names been linked leaving, but a name they've been linked with is James Tarkowski. Obviously, a lot of Burnley players have been linked with moves back to the Premiership, and he's one of the ones linked to Everton. Leeds, they've been linked with quite a lot of people, made a couple of signings. Ben Bertrand Diaz is one of the ones that stands out from the Championship. Blackburn would probably demand a fee of 20 million plus. Looking at Dries Martin was a surprise one from Napoli. And Kennedy, the left winger from Chelsea, has also been mentioned. Liverpool, obviously we know about the Darwin Núñez one. Long-term target, Ramsey from Aberdeen. That one hasn't got over the line yet, but they're expecting that one to go through. And you've also got Gavi. They're expecting to meet his release clause, which is 42.5 million. Man United, they've obviously got the ones again. So Frankie de Jong, we've mentioned. They're also in the running for Darwin Núñez, but that looks like that's getting beyond them. Got Senghir as well, and the Christian Ericsson rumours are there. They're also in for a centre-back. Bastoni and Torres have been mentioned, Pau Torres, but the Bastogne one looks dead in the water. Nottingham Forest, not much action for them. Nick Pope's a name that has been linked. Be a good solid Premier League goalkeeper. Tottenham Hotspur, they look favourites to sign Jed Spence from Borough. They're also interested in Alan St Maximum. Also in the running for Gabriel Jesus, but I don't think he'll go there with that front three. And John McGinn, 70 million price tag has been put on him by Villa. So it's been linked, but I don't see Spurs paying 70 million. And with finally Wolves, the main name, it looks like Neves is going to be leaving, but their main name is Yalpolinia from Sporting. He's a defensive midfielder, so that would be the ideal replacement. So I'm going to have a breather if you want to run through the other 10G.
I will just say on Nottingham Forest that they are set to sign Joel Wolfrell and Goldston from Rangers. They got that got released the other day. So along with Nick Pope. But anyway,
they're struggling for big names, though, aren't they?
They're looking at Championship players. So them two look like they're the Forest fans are saying that them two deals will be confirmed in July the 1st.
I think they were really hoping to keep Jed Spence as well, but obviously there's a lot of interest.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I work shift work and he works night shift. So thank you, Cheggers. Anyway, off to me now, and I will do the remaining 10 teams that are left to do. I'll start with my Arsenal. We've been linked with many a player, but confirmed in the last 2 hours by Fabrizio Romano, Arsenal have agreed to signing of Sao Paulo Brazilian winger Marquinhos for 3.5 million on a 5-year deal. Announcement expected soon. This deal has gone through. Bournemouth midfield is a priority. Callum Styles from Barnsley is a player that they're after. They will have to fend off interest from Fulham and Forest. They're also interested in Blackpool winger Josh Brawler. Brighton have reportedly signed. I'm going to do that so I don't look. Brighton have reportedly signed 18-year-old youngster Julio Incinco for 9.5 million. The Libertad president has announced it, but nothing official yet. Crystal Palace. Lens midfielder Czech Diokoro has agreed to join Palace according to reports, but the fee has yet to be agreed and could be a stumbling block as Lens want 21 million for the central midfielder who has been, he's been cited as the new Quixote, as Quixote, a member, hasn't signed a new contract yet. Fulham reports in Portugal claim Fulham have won the race with 26-year-old Libyan Braga midfielder Al Marati. Reports suggesting he's in London to finance a £15 million deal. Leicester are battling Everton and Wolves for New Zealand midfielder Matthew Garbett from Torino. Nothing news on that yet, just rumours from now. But reports are suggesting that a £16 million bid for £16 million bid for Southampton winger Mohamed Al Nussi is on the table and expected to be offered soon. Man City, Haaland is expected to complete his move on the 1st of July for 51 million. Nothing as yet, no other news, but Mark Cucurella continues to be linked. Reports suggest that Brighton will not accept anything under 50 million for him. Newcastle, Matt Targett completes a £15 million move from Aston Villa, and they are confident that they can get Dutch centre-back Seth Botman and striker from Reims, Hugo Aganiki, over the line. They expect to sign both of them, but will face competition for both of them, especially Botman. Southampton are set to sign Man City goalie Gavin Bazuma for 10 million. This has been confirmed that this will go through and expected by the next week. He was on loan last year at Portsmouth. If you don't know who that is, he was actually the goalie that was in goal that saved the penalty against Ronaldo. He's highly rated and is expected to challenge McCarthy next year. And finally, West Ham. Reports today are from the from the Telegraph suggest that they are plotting a £50 million move for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. The Guardian reports that Ben Rama could leave. They will be listening for offers for him. And that's it. That's the transfer news for the 20 clubs. Anything that shouts out to you there?
There's one thing I was just going to mention. When you went through Man City, I was looking this morning and Calvin Phillips got backed into 1-3 to go there this summer, which I don't think is a great move by Man City, but that's a bit of noise I heard.
I don't think he'll play. I don't know what Arsenal, yeah. Well, got him because Arsenal A, Mundy. Come on, mate. Big up the channel, by the way, Mundy. Mundy talks. If no one subscribed, make sure you give us a subscribe. It was their full-time job now, Mundy. Yep, this is it. This is what we do. This is what we strive to success. Hayden to Norwich, great signing for them. Yes, Hayden, former Arsenal player who was at Newcastle, has gone to Norwich. He'll be a good signing for them. He is definitely a lower Premier League player, so that means he could probably succeed in the Championship. Anyway, we move on. Thank you very much for the comments, guys. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. So we're going to get to the main story. And with most of what we're saying here, Phil, I'm just going to basically go through it and get your opinion on it. So Darwin Núñez, the Benfica striker, Uruguayan, highly touted. A lot of teams interested over the last year or so. And now we believe that Man United are interested and are still in contact. But loads of reliable reports, including Fabrizio Romano, who is very reliable. He knows what he's talking about, has confirmed that Liverpool are interested and a deal worth up to 80 million euros up front will be agreed soon, and it's expected that he will sign for Liverpool. What's your thinking? What do you think about this deal?
The thing I'm looking at is the deal is there in terms of they will accept the 80 million euros. So it doesn't matter which team pays that. But I think he could have his head turned if Man United do match that, because Man United will probably offer him a lot more money. I think from a footballing term, he'd be better off going to Liverpool. But you've seen that with Sancho, he went for big wages to Man United. He'd have probably been better off at Liverpool. He'd probably played quite well in that front three. And like going to the player himself, obviously he wasn't the known player from Portugal. That was always Diaz before he moved to Liverpool. But then since Diaz's move, Darwin's now been the name that he's been lighting up the league, and obviously his goals to game ratio does support that. So he should be able to come in. He scores about a goal a game this season. I know it hasn't for his whole group, but he's only 22. I think it's a lot of money, especially from the Portuguese league, but he does, from the games we've seen of him. Obviously, we haven't seen all of his games, so we've only seen his best, haven't we? We haven't seen him being human and making mistakes, so that'll be something to come up. But I think it'll be a good replacement for the boys that look to be on the way up.
Yeah, 26 goals in 28 games this year in the Portuguese league. Yeah, no matter what league it is, that's a great ratio. It's
when
a great
you look
record.
At players that have come from the Portuguese league, Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva, none of those
of course.
achieved.
Bernardo Silva came from French. He came from Monaco. But Fernandes did, so I'll let you have that one. But no, going back to him, 26 goals in one season. He's only had one season though. The year before, the 6 goals. So that amount of money for a potential one-season wonder is a lot for me. And people moan when teams want to sign someone like Calvert-Lewin for 40 million, but people are fine for a guy who plays in an average league, who's unproven. Yes, he scored goals, but he's unproven. He could potentially be a flop, and teams are willing to pay up to 100 million euros for him. That's a nuts one for me. I'm not convinced. I think he might. I don't know. I don't know the player. I ain't going to act like I've watched him. I'm not going to do like an Arsenal fans and go, we want him. We don't want Calvert-Lewin because he's shit, even though he's proven in the Premier League. We want this guy who scores penalties and does blah, blah, blah. This is an example with that Velevic guy who again, still unproven. But I'll be worried if they're spending too much money on a player that's unproven. I think it's worth signing him. But look at João Felix. You know, for Atletico Madrid, he hasn't proven it, and he still gets bumped.
And what was he, about 103
million for someone who had potential and played in the Portuguese league, and people will still say he's better than half the Premier League players when he's not. He's not. Now, I think it's a good move, but I think it's a lot of money for what he has actually done. I think if he does it, listen, if he stayed there this year and did 26 goals again, then yeah, okay, fair enough. In this day and age, 100 million, whatever, he scored 52 goals in 50 games. Great ratio, regardless of what league. But for 1 year for them to splash out, I don't know, it's a bit nuts. And people say 100 million for Harry Kane's too much. So, you know what I mean? It's just...
But compare it to what they spent on Diaz as well, though. If you're looking at Diaz, yeah, so that's going to be nearly double, isn't it? So is he going to be double Diaz? I don't think he will.
Well, he's a striker. No,
but it's still part of that front three.
Like that sort of player. Klopp likes these sort of false number 9. So obviously Klopp decided that he wants him.
He wants to go back to his old Dortmund tactic, didn't he, where he has an extra centre forward.
Yeah, fair enough. We've still got Jota and Diaz. Potentially could be on the wings. I don't think this would be the end of their business. I think they'll sign someone else. But you said Man United, obviously. Man United will want him, but I think United probably now know that the second best team in the world are interested. I think it'll be very hard for them to sway him away from going to Liverpool, especially if Mane leaves. And Nunes knows that he is going to start. He's going to be the focal point of the team. So, yes, he could potentially be that at Man United. But if Ronaldo's still there, it doesn't matter how old Ronaldo is, Ronaldo's still going to be the main man.
Yeah, he needs to play, doesn't
he? Yeah, he needs to play. If you're going to pay a 37-year-old on wages, you start him.
But put yourself in his position, though. So you're Darwin Núñez now. Liverpool have got wage structure. So they're fighting with their two best players about having to give them more money, which is going to be like in the 300k range. Yeah. So Man United are paying that for talented players. Like they're paid that to Bellingham if he comes. They're already paying that to Sancho. So if he knows he can just go there and get instant money, he might only be on 110k at Liverpool to start off with. He could go there on 300k and, like you say, not even be in the team. So you've got that part of it. He's a 22-year-old kid, isn't he? He's not probably on massive wages there. So you could look there and just think this first contract could just set me up for life. If he goes to Liverpool on 100k a week and breaks his leg in the first season and never plays again, you just got to look at that. And United give silly contracts where they'll probably put him on like a 6-year deal on that money. But Pogba,
exactly.
People slag him off, but if you had, and like Gareth Bale, if you had someone just throwing that money at you and that length of contract, you'd sign it, wouldn't you?
Exactly, of course you would. Yeah, watch your space with that one. I do think he'll sign. And I'm not saying he's not a good player. I'm just saying it's a lot of money for something that isn't as proven. But is he based on his talent alone? This day and age, you probably have to pay it.
And if you think everything you've seen of him now is only highlights of him scoring goals and playing well, isn't it? And those couple of games in Liverpool where he looked decent.
Same but they'll get people coming saying he's a great player. And I haven't seen him. I don't know how good he is.
When Henry was in his prime, we used to see every minute of his games, didn't we, on Match of the Day and like live football. So we would see Henry fall over on the ball or play a bad pass. When you were watching highlights of like Messi and Ronaldinho, etc., Zidane, you're just seeing, because we don't have it, we do now, but we never used to have it live in this country. We're just watching all the best bits from the highlights, aren't we? So you're looking and saying, look at these amazing players, look what they're doing. Where our players, we're seeing the whole 90 minutes when they're playing bad, when they're playing fantastic. So it's the same with this Núñez. We haven't seen him go through a bad patch and what he looks like when the team's not performing.
Yeah, that's fair enough. We'll move on to the next story then. I think he'll do all right, but yeah, I have my reservations.
I think Gavin, 42 million would be more value for money because...
Yeah, but I don't know how true that is. Expensive. I don't know that.
Yeah.
If Fabrizio Romano doesn't report it, then I'm very...
Also, Barcelona are known for trying to put stuff out there so that then the player will sign a contract and up his release clause.
Exactly. Anyway, we'll move on. So, obviously, the player that he could potentially be replacing is Mane, who looks set to leave, but at the moment there is a sticking point. Liverpool value him over 40 million, even though he is 30, 31 and in his last year. I think Bayern Munich have made a sensible 2 offers. The second one, 24 million, rising to 30 million with add-ons. But as you can see, it's been rejected. Now, do you understand why Liverpool have rejected this bid, or do you think it's a bit silly on their part?
Well, if you think, so 24 million guaranteed money, they paid, was it 30 million-ish for him 6 years ago?
Yeah, 6 years ago.
Either way, you'd be getting your money back that you've spent on him. But obviously, they're valuing him higher. For anything less than 30 million, would you just play him for the season and say that he's going to be more valuable to you as an asset in terms of winning games, rather than what they're going to do with that 30 million?
Yeah, but if they're not willing to, if he wants to leave and they've got a player in mind that's going to cost, again, up to 80 million euros or 80 million pounds, whatever it could be. He's 31 by the time the season starts, I believe. So he's in his final year. He's paid back his fee and what he won. You got to remember, 30 million. You got to remember, when teams win the Premier League, when teams win the Champions League, they win money. Let's not forget that. And a lot of people don't realise that teams win money for winning stuff. So when a player comes in and plays for a 6 or 7 year spell and they are successful, their transfer fee becomes unrealistic. So yes, if they do sell him, I think 25 million is a fair deal for a 31-year-old. But yeah, you're right. If they decide to keep him and go, you know what, we're just going to let you play out. You know, you're 32, you've done as well. We don't feel like we're going to lose out if you go for free because you're a bit older now. You've paid us back your fee. You've done what you've done. But thinking 40 million, I think that's a piss take. I think 40 million. He's worth. Listen, if he had 3 years left in his contract, I think 45 million, even for a player of his age, because 32 now isn't that old. Players can play at a high level now up to 35, 36. And that's not just Messi and Ronaldo. There are still players who are 34, 35 playing well. So if he had years of his contract, okay, 40 million. But with 1 year left, he is still 31. I think sensibly, I think if they're offering guaranteed 25, I would take it. But at the same time, I'd understand why they want to keep him. They might not want him to leave. They might want to try and offer him a contract. We don't know the in and outs. But do you not agree in the sense where it's a bit silly for not letting him go, or do you think they're doing the right thing at the moment?
I think they're just playing hardball because if you look at what Barcelona have done with the Lewandowski price tag for an older player, they're probably thinking, well, why are you coming to us with this 30 million bid when you're giving a 35-year-old striker away that's only really played in that country, and you're wanting the same fee? So maybe they're just thinking they're going to be getting that for Lewandowski, so we'll just have that sent directly to us. Thank you very much.
And do you reckon he will go eventually?
Mane?
Yeah. We'll get to Lewandowski in a minute.
Yeah, I think he will go at some point, but I think they could be potentially even bargaining. Say the Nunes thing doesn't happen, they could end up coming to a stalemate where they just say, look, do you want to just do a straight swap and one pays the difference? Try and get Lewandowski over. I know he wants to go to Barcelona, but
I don't think he'll say no to Liverpool though.
Yeah, because we've got the Klopp relationship as well.
They're a good side. Yeah, but they're a good side as well. Let's not just worry about that. Liverpool are a big side, so I just think I think they should accept the next bid. If it's anywhere near 30 guaranteed, take the money and let him go. He's done enough for the club. He wants to leave. He's 31. You know, you got Diaz, you got Jota, you got potentially Nunes. They might sign someone else. We're not here to talk about Salah, but I don't think Klopp's too worried if he loses both of them now. I think he's got a plan in place, and you know, if you can take 30 million, put that towards a Nunes deal, then you're in a good shape. But we'll see. Watch this space, as I've been saying.
I think the fact he's already agreed personal terms with Bayern makes it hard for him not to let this deal go through.
Exactly. I don't know how true that is. I've seen that rumour as well, but
and that's been going around for a week now, hasn't it?
Fabrizio hasn't confirmed that. He's my boy, mate. He's my main source. I think that probably is the truth, though. I do think there is probably some, it's very similar to the Palace one. I don't know if you knew about that one, but the Corre one, I don't know if you've seen that. That's been on various reports that you've agreed to sign that player, but there's an issue with the deal, and
But a lot of it's just behind closed doors, isn't it? It's not an official.
Yeah, you don't know. Yeah, exactly.
Just a name your price sort of chat, isn't it?
Exactly. Okay, so we'll move on to the next story. Lukaku back to Inter on loan, not in loan. Fucking spastic. I got to change it before fucking Luke comes on and slags me off. Fucking grammar place. So Lukaku back to Inter on loan. Okay, so there's actually some reports coming out today from Italy that Inter Milan boss Inzaghi wants him, desperately needs him to come back. And just going on into briefly, they want him and Dybala to play up top with Martinez. So they want him back. Rumoured are 20 million loan fee, and then there'll be a 50 million permanent option at the start of next year. Don't know how true it is, though. This is actually not official yet. No one's officially reported. A lot of this is paper talk. Now, we don't know if Chelsea are willing to loan him out, and we don't know if there are discussions, but Italy are reporting it. There's a few press people reporting it here that he has been chatting to Inter via Chelsea, and he's willing to go back, and Chelsea are willing to take it. Do you see any truth in this, or do you think this could be lies, or do you think this is true and it will happen?
I think he would want to go back to Inter. I don't know what Chelsea's stance would be on it. I don't think he's in Thomas Tuchel's long-term plans, just from the way he's used him towards the end of the season. He sort of played him in the games, like the dead rubber games, really, when he was concentrating on the cup, and they ended up playing at the end of the season. But that was just because he'd had a little bit of form in the games before. He was frozen out for long periods after those slightly bad games. But I think as well, it's a very high loan fee. I don't think I've seen a 25 million loan fee before.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at spending money just to loan a player, and you might not even buy that player, you could
Exactly. Yeah.
be a player with that money.
I think. Yeah. Yeah. You can buy a player for that amount. So.
How much
I think
did Chelsea still? Did Chelsea? But how much did Chelsea pay of that initial fee? Are they still paying Inter?
I think they paid the whole fee up front. I think.
Because that's what another thing I was thinking of. You know, if they paid it in stages, they could have potentially made it so that they don't have to pay anything back to Inter. They just cut their losses.
Yeah, I don't know the ins and outs. Again, I don't know how true this is. I've not seen anything official. I always have a few, paper talk you take with a pinch of salt here. There's a few sources you can rely on, and I haven't seen anything reliable enough. Reports, outlets in Italy and Spain. You've always got to be cautious with them ones. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if this did go through. I think he doesn't want to be at Chelsea. I think he realises his first touch is his first touch. His touch isn't good enough.
I think
you can't have a touch of a rapist in this league. Unfortunately, sorry.
He's at both ends of his career. Basically, he's been a wrong fit at Chelsea, hasn't he? He's been great pretty much everywhere else he's played. But
even
Chelsea,
Man United for 1 year. The first year at Man United, he was really good.
And considering he had Ibrahimovic there taking goals off him as well at one point.
Yeah.
So he did well to get his numbers, good numbers at 2 seasons in Inter, and all of the Premiership teams he was loaned out to, basically.
Yeah, Ericsson, West Brom, yeah.
Yeah,
he played well.
So I think, just sometimes it's just the two don't fit, and that's something he just has to accept.
Yeah, he'd be frustrated as well. But it is.
I think he wanted to go back and make it like he'd have a 20-goal season, and it just right a few wrongs, shut everyone up, and they'd be able to close the book on that whole saga. But obviously now he's got 2 non-eventful spells there, so you just have to dust yourself off and move on sometimes, don't you? If he goes back to Inter, scores goals, I'm sure he won't mind.
Yeah, exactly. Just before we get to the next story, and people watching, any questions you'd like to ask us, please put them in the comments and we will answer them. Anything you want, we will get back to. We've got a few more stories to get through, but please, anything you want to ask, please ask. And if you're not subscribed and you are watching us, please like and subscribe, as it says at the bottom there. Thank you very much. So we'll move on to Arsenal. Now, Arsenal get linked with everyone throughout the year. Loads of players, loads of names. Probably got a catalogue of players that we've been linked with, but how true they are is always something that I'm always looking at. But this is true. This has been confirmed that this is a genuine interest. Now, Arsenal are interested, and over the last few weeks, it's been saying that they're willing to offer between 25 and 45 million. They're going to try and bargain a deal as less as possible for Jesus, who is in his final year contract at Man City, and obviously the son of Haaland and Alvarez, by the way, who's been scoring goals in Argentina. He is down the pecking order, and he would like to be a number 9, and Arsenal can offer him that. So, being confirmed today, along with the Arsenal signing on Marquinhos, that Fabrizio Romano has reported that Arsenal are set to make their first offer today. No idea how much it will be. They are looking to offer a deal for Jesus, and hopefully this could be enough to dissuade City to sell him to Arsenal. Other reports suggest last night that the Telegraph are reporting that Jesus has been offered to Chelsea. Again, that is just paper talk, but the Arsenal one is 100% confirmed that we will make an offer. What do you think about this? Do you think it's a good sign for Arsenal?
Yeah, we're just going on the other stories. I don't think Chelsea would take him, to be honest with you. I can't see that one working. And Tottenham are highly linked with him as well as, was it AC Milan? Tottenham,
yeah.
I can't see him going anywhere near that front three because he's leaving City for the reason that he can't really get in the team. He wouldn't go somewhere where all three of them were on fire for that last quarter of the season. Goes to your team, but no disrespect,
we need a striker.
He's just going to walk in there, isn't he? And he's going to get his chance. If he messes it up, it's on him. So he's going to get the platform, and then it's up to him to deliver.
Exactly, and like I said, he's got the opportunity. Do you think he will sign for Arsenal if Arsenal sort themselves out and don't fuck around and make a serious offer? Or do you reckon there's a risk that we could fuck around like we do and lose out?
I think just with him being Brazilian as well, like he's not got any sort of loyalty to stay in the Premiership as such. Like if it was a Calvert-Lewin, you can obviously lure him over a foreign club. But I think like if AC Milan put in a serious bid, he would consider that as well. Get quite a few Brazilians do play in the Italian league, but I think like if you put the bid in early, you'd be front runners, and he would go and listen to it. But it's like silly things like Ruben Neves. You've been linked with him for like 3 years. If you put a bid in, say like 2 years ago, you'd have probably got him.
Yeah,
bid would have probably done
it.
Who
says we haven't put a bid in? We probably did and offered him like 7 million or something.
Yeah. But it's just there's players there that he didn't go anywhere, and he was being linked with Juventus. He's been linked with Barcelona now, so there's no hope of competing with these teams now. But a couple of years ago, you could have just nicked him off Wolves when he was still relatively unheard of, and you were interested in him. So it's the same with the Jesus thing. If you go in there and do your business early, you probably get him. If you wait till the end, there'll be teams that don't get their players, and then they'll react by trying to hijack this one if you leave it too long.
Yeah, that's what Chelsea did with William all them years ago.
Yeah.
They didn't want him, but he was available. They failed on their first target, and then they signed him. So, I think I just worry we fuck around. I think we want him, of course. We're going to offer something, but we need to make a serious offer. I think if we can put 35 million on the table, I think City would definitely consider it. I don't know if they would accept it, but the thing with us is that you look at AC Milan, Real Madrid, they're reluctant to spend money. They don't want to spend 35. These clubs take the piss. They go, all right, these are foreign clubs. All right, whilst I'll play at 50 million. But when they want to sign someone from England, it's loan deal. So I think the only team that would worry me would be Chelsea. And I don't think they're interested. I think that's lies. I think Tottenham don't want him because I don't think he'll start. And I think we have the opportunity now. We can sign him. Put an offer in. Get the deal done, new striker, opportunity. You're going to start. Your competition's Balogun and potentially fucking Eddie Dickhead. So come on. You're not going to be on the bench. You're not going to be on the wing. You're going to be the number 9. You're going to have Saka. You're going to have Martinelli, Smith Rowe, Odegaard giving you the ball. You've got an opportunity now. You're still young. I think he wants to go there. It is all on if Arsenal don't fuck around. And I just hope they don't fuck around.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, but we'll see what happens, won't we?
Yeah, and just a brief word, apparently just broke in the last hour. Arsenal still pushing to sign Eddie Nketiah to a new deal, so it's nothing confirmed yet. So let's hope talks break down.
Well, maybe if they sign Jesus, they'll just say, "See you later. You can leave."
Fuck off, I can't get that. Anyway, so do you reckon he will sign for Arsenal though? Just quick, yes or no?
I'd say it's the favourite at this moment.
At this moment. And you love a favourite film. All right. Brentford offer a record deal to Ericsson. By record, I mean the highest wages they've ever offered a player. I think they already offered him, but they're offering more now. Now, obviously, I've got a few sources. Now, I've been confirmed to me that Ericsson has been offered a long-term deal by Brentford, and he said he will make the decision when he returns from international break. Now, I have a guest that's going to join us. He's just popped up, and he will get on. Don't worry, mate. Hold on. Now, he's very unhappy because he feels there's a lot of fake reports going out, a lot of fake news, because I've been told the same, that right now, the only team that have made a contract offer, the only team interested are Brentford, and Brentford are wary of Tottenham interest. There is no other interest as of now, and all fake blogs at Newcastle and Man United is complete bollocks as of now. Before I get to you, Phil, I'm going to add my guest. and it is called Jay, who is not there. There he is. Jay, mate, you're right. Listen,
I'm working, boys, so I'm a bit sweaty.
No worries. Before I get to Phil, you're very frustrated with this Ericsson situation. Just tell us about it, because there's a lot of bollocks going around.
It's just funny, like we were talking about. It's just funny what journalists come up with and like what words they bite off of. So Ericsson did an interview and he was talking about Champions League football and that he would like to play it again. And then after that, he said, but it's not essential. But everyone's jumped on the first bit going, oh, he's definitely going Tottenham then because he wants to play Championship football. Like, they just need to listen to the whole story rather than biting on one bit and going, oh, he wants to play Champions League, he's definitely leaving Brentford. Like, that's not true, is it? You have to look at the underlying factors behind everything. And also, he's staying in London. He ain't going Newcastle, no matter how much they offer him. Like, he don't need the money, does he? He's 30. He's had his time. His eyes are on the World Cup. What better team to stay in than Norgard? Do you know what I mean? He's going to be partnering with at the World Cup. Denmark have got a real opportunity to get really far in the World Cup. I think they've got a very strong squad. And Kasper Kjellman said those players need to be playing regular football, even players like Ericsson. So if he goes to Tottenham, is he going to be playing every game? Probably not. But yeah, that's I'm just going to go to Phil. What do you reckon, Phil? Do you think he will go to Brentford, and do you believe that these shit stories are going to affect him?
I think he would have been happy enough to stand at Brentford, just regardless anyway, before all the stories came out, because obviously he didn't even know if he's going to play football again, did he? So the fact he's come on and he's proved everyone wrong. So why would you change that? You just stay where you're comfy. But then obviously saying where you're comfy, I could understand why he'd go back to Tottenham for the comfort side of it. But again, is he really going to play? Like you say, he's got the World Cup. If he's going to be a bit part player, they sort of forced him out last time. They weren't really happy with him, were they? He was getting a lot of bench time. He
won't suit Conte's system either.
I saw an article where Højbjerg said, oh, Conte asked him about me, and that's literally all he said. And everyone's banging on like, oh, Conte and Ericsson at Inter, like that's why they're going to partner up again. I don't think Conte likes the geezer, to be honest. They didn't get on the best at Inter.
But he ain't gonna play in a 2 in a 5-3-3. That's what 5-2-3. That's what he plays, all right. He ain't gonna play in the midfield 2. He can't play in the midfield 2. He's either number 10 or in a midfield 3. He isn't going to suit the system.
And didn't Conte quite a lot when he was at Inter as well? He came off the bench quite a bit, didn't he, that season?
Yeah.
He only actually played the second half. He didn't play the first half of the season, did he?
Yeah.
Much at all.
No. So I get frustrated with this news. Listen, Tottenham is always an option, you know, and it's going to be Tottenham and Brentford. But like I said, I've been told by various sources that the deal is offered. It's the record deal in wages-wise. He's happy. They're confident that he's going to agree it. And let's hope he comes back and goes, yeah, I want to sign. Now, there's a Newcastle blog, and apparently he's spoken to the agent. The agent has spoken to Newcastle. He's going to meet Eddie Howe when he gets back. Now, I've again spoken to a few people, and that is complete bollocks. That's not true. The Everton link is bollocks. The Man United link is bollocks. What about the Man United? Apparently, he played under. He trained under Ten Hag. No, he didn't. He played the Ajax youth. That's complete bollocks. Yeah. Stop falsing it. Stop lying. Now he could end up going to Tottenham, but I'll be shocked. I'd eat my own shit if he went to anyone else but Tottenham. But I think Brentford are confident, and I think they might get lucky here and get the deal over the line.
What do you reckon is going to happen to the model now if they break the ceiling for Ericsson? Do you think everyone else is going to knock on the door and say, I want a little bit more now, or do you think they're going to have to just use the Premier League money to restructure how they start off?
I was saying to Graham this yesterday, like everyone talks about like a wage structure. I think Liverpool are the only ones that come out and say we've got a fixed wage structure. Like it's natural progression that we pay players less than the Championship, and in the first season of the Prem they probably said stay up and we'll up your wages. And I think this Rico Henry's just signed a new contract. They tried to offer David Raya one, but I don't think he wants to sign it. Tony's been getting a new offer. Do you know what I mean? So they do all the background work to up their wages as it progresses. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think it's just natural. I don't think it's like, they've gone out and they're going to spunk all their money on this one player and fuck everyone else off. Do you know what I mean? Like the rest of the squad is young, whereas Ericsson's 30, but we saw what he brought to the team.
Yeah, I was saying, we got to remember with a wage structure is like when you go up to the Premier League, you can't keep paying players 20 to 25,000 a week. It's just not going to happen. You know, Norgard signed a new deal last year. I bet he's now on 40. There's always going to be a natural progression the higher you go up in the league. So Tony will probably want 60, 70. And I think Brentford will pay him that if they want to keep him. If there's no off on the table, keep him. He's worth it. He'll get you the goals, especially if he plays with Ericsson. So when people say wage structure, every team, apart from the teams at Yo-Yo, because they get the parachute payments, so teams like Coventry, teams like Bristol City, they have a wage structure, but it's not a wage structure. They can't go and pay someone 50k. They have to pay people a certain money. So yeah, Brentford's best ever deal. But Brentford have only been in the Premier League for 1 year. This is their first player that actually played in the Premier League before this year. Take away Canos and Tony's 2 games. So they have to offer him it because they know he's good enough and they don't offer him being competitive. He ain't going to stay. Yes, he knows he owes him. He likes to set up. He likes Thomas Frank. But money matters. And he will value himself at least 70k a week. And Brentford knows that. And the fact they've offered it, realising they know how important he is to Brentford. So yeah, I completely agree with what Jay said. Anything else you want to say, Phil? I know you were going to ask something. Sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah, no, you just got to compare it, haven't you? So what the money they were getting when they were in the Championship in terms of revenue and now what money they're getting in the Prem. As long as you're keeping that same ratio, then you're going to be on the same model anyway, aren't you? So it's just all relative to what's getting in for turnstiles.
You got to remember, they get 100 million from going up. They got 60 million for 2 players the season before. So that's 160 million straight away. And then you got adding the sponsorship deals, the new stadium. Matthew Benning's minted. He's got a second team, for God's sake. So Brentford have a lot of money. Obviously, they don't have money of the big 6, but they're in a good position. They spent 40 million in the transfer market. They probably spent 40 million in their whole life, not even that. So it's clever. So they're in a good position. I'll ask you, Jay, do you reckon that Ericsson will stay?
Mate, you already know I do. I'm not betting on it for no reason. I've got another 10 games on yet, mate.
Yeah, good.
But I think he'll sign after the internationals. I don't think it'll be long after that. I don't think he'll wait it out.
Well, he's not going to want to go on holiday. He's going to want to know where he's coming back to, isn't he?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, we'll see the next international game. Everyone's starting to come back. Do you know what I mean? Like you say, it's the transfer window's open today. It's still early doors. It's all rumours. But what we know from Brentford is they like to get deals done early because then the players are with the team for a full pre-season. And like Phil was saying earlier, is the longer you wait in a transfer window, the more desperate other teams come because they didn't get their first choice players. So early you can get the players that you want. And players like Hickey, if Bologna say, 20 million for a left right back, like it's too much money, isn't it? To be honest, I don't care if he's 19. I think it's a little bit of a risk for a left and right back. I think whatever they offered, 10 million, they're probably willing to go to 15 plus add-ons. But above that, they'll just go, no, thank you, it's too much money, rather than just.
What about Max Aarons?
Yeah, I think he's going to come a lot cheaper if that's a player they're looking for. I think that was just a news article saying, who would he be suited to? Someone like Brentford, because he's young English player. Right back, that's what Brentford needs. So I think they put 2 and 2 together and made 4, but without any concrete behind it. Do you know what I mean?
Anything else? Anyone else you want to sign? Are you up for Dennis coming along?
Yeah. 20 million as well. I think it's a steal for a player like him. Like we saw Watkins and Ben Rama, who had never done it in the Prem, for more than that. And Dennis is proven goal scorer and gives assists as well. So he's not just a greedy little bastard. But I already told you, like, it's a long shot, but Ben Rama all day long. I think the club will see value in it as well. If they sold him for, it's a win-win, isn't it?
Exactly, and a report saying that Moyes is willing to let him go. But going back onto the 2 deals of 30 million for both of the lads, them 2 deals sort of set the new standard with Championship clubs. The fact is you were able to sell 2 players for 60 million who never played Premier League. This is why a lot of teams are struggling to buy players from the Championship now, because of these teams like, Brendan Johnson, Lewis Potter. These teams want more money because you set the standard for selling players for that amount of money. So it's much harder to sign players from the Championship now. I think Brentford are definitely, what I know, you're definitely keen. You're very busy. You're looking to buy a winger and a right back, and you want it soon.
But Hull are going, we're not going to sell Lewis Potter for less than 30 million. buy Benrahma for that. He's proven. Hull finished 19th, and Reading and Derby both had points deductions. Hull would have gone down. They're getting excited, like, oh, Lewis Potter's the next big thing. All the kid does is score tap-ins. And to be honest, shit keeper errors from what I saw, from when I watched his goals. I think he's overrated, very overrated.
Yeah, I think it'd be silly to spend anything more than 15 on him.
Yeah, if that. And Hull aren't going to accept that, so move on. Like, the news story's gone a bit dead since they were interested in January, I think.
Yeah.
And I think this window, like, summer window is always bigger than January, isn't it? So more players become available because teams are like, right, we didn't want to lose someone in January because we might not replace them, but actually the summer is the time when you not rebuild, but do you know what I mean? You restructure a little bit, prepare for the next season, and kind of go again.
Exactly. Before you go, Jay, I know you're going to go after this. Phil, anything else you want to add on Ericsson or Brentford?
I was just going to say with the Dennis deal, Jay, how do you think that will line up if he signed now and no one else left? How do you think Frank would put that into a team sheet?
Well, yeah. Voila. I don't know, to be honest. I don't know if he starts. It's a tough one, isn't it? Because you've got Weeson and Mbeumo, who, Mbeumo didn't get as many goals, but he got 7 assists. Do you know what I mean? So he provides for Tony. Weeson banged the goals in as an impact sub, not many starts. Like, I think both of them would be pissed if Dennis came in. And I think it would be a massive head scratcher of who starts.
Also, Mbeumo, he's got a lot of loyalty there, hasn't he, to still get the start, because he's like the only one of the BMW left, and he's like one of the main reasons you're promoted, isn't it? So
yeah, definitely.
Him.
He's been with us for 3 years now. Like, that's in these days, that's a long time, and he's 22. So
he will start attracting interest though. Once he starts scoring goals, he will definitely attract a lot of interest. Because I rate him on
goalless involvements for the first year in the Prem. I think it's fucking good.
Yeah. Well, you know, he played really well against Arsenal and Liverpool on live TV. I think a lot of teams paid notice of that. If he can sort his finishing out, I'm not saying he's a bad finisher, but he had a lot of chances.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add, Jay? Go on, mate. Because I know you're working.
Oh, fucking hell, it's hard work today as well. No. Like I say, he's definitely coming Brentford. I'm not having anything else. I'm reading stuff, and I ain't smelling, looking at things that are saying like Tottenham ain't said, yeah, we're going to talk to him. The reports I've said is Tottenham have had an internal discussion, but nothing else has come of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, and an internal discussion is natural, isn't it? I'm sure every team in the Prem said, is Ericsson available? So they've had an internal discussion. It's whether they take that further or not. Maybe, I don't know how much we've offered him. Maybe 70k a week, maybe more. But maybe that'll put a few teams off. I know Newcastle got bags, but he's not moving out of London. That's a fact. We know that. Yeah. He's going nowhere out of London.
He said that. He ain't going anywhere. So either West Ham, Arsenal, Tottenham. We don't need him. West Ham, maybe, but I don't think he'll suit their system. Man United, not in London, but they don't need him. So it's just, Everton, not in London. They have Dele Alli.
Yeah.
Jay, I know you want to go, mate, very quickly. Seconds. We're going to talk about this on the live soon. But you just tell us very briefly why the second season syndrome was a bullshitter.
But most teams go down in their first season. I don't want to bring up the stats, but it's not actually a stat. If you stay up your first season, most teams actually stay up for the next however long. Brighton is still up for a long time. So
Bournemouth as well.
Yeah, we just like to jump on it when they're not as good as they were the year before. And I think if you look at Brentford, like everyone's like, oh, you get found out. But how many times have we changed the formation, changed the squad in games when we're behind, gone forward? I think when we beat Everton, they went down to 9 men eventually, but they had 10 man for a long time. But if you
got rid of centre backs and brought on 2 centre midfield and played them at the back as playmakers.
Yeah, exactly.
When did you see that? When did you see that?
Yeah, well, exactly. I think if you look at how to beat 10 men, I think that's a perfect example. Okay, Frank definitely sat back a lot. There's a bit more quality in that Everton team to pass it around and just sit and hold on for a 1-0 lead or 2-1 or whatever it was. But yeah, perfect example of how Frank can use his tactics to kind of change games a bit and not be one-dimensional, which I think Sheffield United were a little bit. And Leeds, we know for a fact that they're one-dimensional, is high press, high intensity, and if they don't win, they lose.
Okay, sweet. Jay, I know you'll come on just for this, so appreciate it. Anybody else want to add?
No, you're all good, mate.
was going to say,
Mate,
but
thank you very
that
much.
season though, I think that's only for like teams that really struggle to stay up. You know, like Huddersfield were the last team to do it, weren't they? They stayed up.
Yeah.
They should have gone down. They stayed up by like a point on the last day of the season. Then they were completely outgunned. They didn't buy anyone the second season. So that's where the second season syndrome comes from, because they just scraped survival. 3 shit teams got relegated. Better teams came up, so they're gone. Where if you come mid-table, it's very hard to then undo all that.
Unless you're Sheffield United, who didn't sign anyone the second year and got completely pantsed.
Yeah. Which
Have
was their
to
own
sign
fault.
players.
Yeah, it's their own fault. It's their own fault. But yeah, like I say, like we're talking about natural regression, you have to sign 4 players minimum every year, I think, to kind of improve your squad, buy younger players. I mean, you've got to, every year you have to buy players. Like, it's a factor.
Unless you're Man City. Man City could keep that team for 2 years and they'll still be up there. It's just nuts.
Yeah, but that's when they're spending 100 million on Jack Grealish and he's not starting every game.
Yeah, exactly. It's nuts. All right. Anyway, cheers, Jay. Thanks for coming on. Nice little guest there. Anyway, look, we'll move on. Lewandowski. I've probably spat his name wrong. I don't give a fuck. Anyway, brief on this one. He wants to leave, and he wants to leave to join Barcelona. Do you expect this one to go through? And if so, how much is the fee going to be?
Well, they're asking for 50 million euros, aren't they? So,
do you reckon that will happen?
Again, it's similar to that Mane argument. If you're Bayern Munich, do you want 40 million quid, or do you want 50 goals in all competitions and then losing for free next year? I know but
he doesn't want to play. He doesn't want to play. It's different. Mane will play. Mane is not desperate to leave. He'll play if he has to. Well, Lewandowski has openly said, "I'm dead inside. I need to move on." Now, they need to just cut their losses. He's won him 7 titles in a row, Champions League, scored him hundreds of goals. Surely they should just be understanding that he's 33?
He's older than that. I think he's 30. Be 35 when the season starts, I believe.
So there you go, 50 million from 35-year-old. You're not married at Ronaldo, are you? So I think it'd be silly to just let him go. 25 million euros, 30 million euros, let him go on. Get a replacement in. You sort of break even on what you've done with Mane and Lewandowski. They brought in a few other players. They brought Gravenberch in. They brought in the right back from Ajax. So they've already signed 2 players on. Gravenberch cost a lot of money. The other one was for free. So, and they've also got that one they signed last summer, the one from Leipzig. So they have improved their squad slowly but surely. Sane, Gnabry, they have a good team. Bring Mane in. Lewandowski would be a massive loss, but he isn't going to make him lose the league. Dortmund are too far away at the moment. They're struggling, and they've just lost their best player. So I think Lewandowski is the perfect time for him to move on. Is the right move, Barcelona? No, not for me. I think he'd be better off going to someone like Inter or AC Milan, but they probably can't afford him. If he were to come to the Premier League, why not come to Chelsea? What do you reckon?
Yeah, I don't know what the obsession with him going to Barcelona is. Like, when some players just say, "Oh, I want to go and test myself here," but you sort of think Barcelona aren't the team they were to then. Like, I could understand if someone went to Real Madrid, because as bad as Madrid can be, they still put on a team that can win a league or win a European Cup. So he'd fit that sort of system. Where Barcelona, it's really transitional at the moment. You don't know if they're going to be competing for titles or if it's going to go backwards again. Because they did.
Yeah, exactly.
But obviously, Aubameyang, the wheels started falling off again towards the end of the season. He had that good first 6 or 8 weeks there. He was banging goals in, but then they subbed him really quickly on one of the games. Then they took him off after 35 minutes or something.
Yeah.
One of the games.
You got to remember, they've already got a lot of players coming in the summer anyway as well. They've got Kessie coming in, I believe. So he's basically changed that squad completely. And is that a good thing? No, not for me. And there's a lot of older players in that team as well.
Feels like they're trying to get a lot of free transfers, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're trying to get players that are in the last year of their contract now to hold out and come to them the year after.
It'd be a great move, though, for Spanish football. I think it will happen, though. I do think the deal will go through.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a merry-go-round. They will all move at the same time. Mane will go, he'll go, and everyone's money will basically just exchange hands.
Yeah, basically. And then we'll move on from it. Okay. Anything else you want to talk about there, or it's a bit obvious there?
With that though, I think when they do cry out in the press and stuff about the terms of the contract, they're quick to run down these contracts and say we're not going to sign a deal. But then the club has that same right to just turn around and say, well, you signed it, mate, so you play until your last day of the contract. So what did they do to Mesut Ozil? They just let him rot in the reserves, didn't they? And then he...
Yeah, exactly.
And we never heard of him again, really, did we? He went to play for Turkey, wasn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on. Frankie de Jong, is he really going to United? I don't get this one. I think he'll be better off at Barca, but obviously the connection with Ten Hag, he knows him because he played under him. Apparently, Daily Mail and numerous of other reports are saying that Frankie de Jong has agreed to join Man United. The deal is up to 67 million. That would be including add-ons. Listen, if it is true, it is an absolutely fantastic signing for Man United. I've seen Frankie de Jong. He is a good player. I've seen him for Dutch. I've seen him for Barca. He isn't a player that, he's good because he's stats. He is a very good player. He's still young. And I think if it is true, it's a great start to the Ten Hag era. And Ten Hag could apparently sources say that their midfielder is their first signing. They are desperate for midfielder. He is worried in that position, and it looks like it is De Jong. Do you think he is going to Man United? And if so, is it head scratcher in your opinion?
I can understand the move happening because of the manager, but it's the Donny. Is he going to be playing? Because obviously there's a lot of talk that he's going to bring him back from the cold.
Apparently, them two. What the rumor is, De Jong can play defensive midfielder. What a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
De Jong, Van de Beek, Fernandes. That's a good midfield.
Yeah.
Get rid of Fred and McTominay. That's shit.
But it just seems like with De Jong and De Ligt, I know he had a bit of success at Juventus, but it just seems they didn't quite go to the level they were expected to straight away, because obviously he went to a Barcelona team that went poor quite quickly. And obviously Juventus had that little bit of struggle as well, didn't they, towards the end of the Ronaldo era?
Yeah, agreed. We will get to that, Maka. Just hold on. We're just talking about De Jong. Donny is pony. I think it makes sense for him. I think Barcelona are looking to move on from him. Which again, they got Pedri, they got Gavi, who can sort of play everywhere. If you were Frankie de Jong, though, would you move? If you were him in his position now, would you swap Champions League football for Europa League football? Or is it the fact Man United's name is, forget what they're playing, Man United, just to play for them as an honour?
I think
forget where they are right now.
It's the manager more than the club that are making him move here, because he's played for him before, and that's how he became known to everyone, wasn't it? He had success under this manager. So again, he's going to trust this manager. If it was Man United under Ole, Mourinho, what's his first, Ranić, I don't think it's a good move, because it'd just get mismanaged, and again, it'd be like Van de Beek, wouldn't it? He'd just disappear into the sub bench. But I think with a manager he's got a rapport with, he's going to get given time and trust to step into that role. And I don't think he's the sort of player that will just like sulk off. Like Pogba let Man United down several times in that final 2 seasons and still got more chances. I think if Frankie plays bad, he plays bad. It's not because he didn't care, it's because he had a bad game. Where Pogba, it's an attitude thing. So I think the kid's got a good attitude. He'll go there, he knows what the manager wants. So it would make sense from all parties.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I think it'd be a great signing, and I think it will go through. And the Man United fans are going to get a boner, and they're going to win the league again, apparently. Great signing, I can't deny that.
He doesn't take penalties, though, so Bruno's all right, isn't he?
Yeah, Bruno's all right. Bruno's all right. Colby at 57, what the fuck? It's a total sportsman. He's not... I don't know. What do you want me to do with that one? I don't know. Where would you put Colby? Would you mean in your top 60, Phil?
What's that, sorry?
Kobe Bryant. He's talking about Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, he said you got him too low, didn't he?
Yeah, he is too low for me. No, he's right. He should be around that area.
All right, because you've got like Usain Bolt and then like Andy Fordham or something like close together in these lists, haven't you? So that I can't imagine him on the podium next to him, like holding his medal.
Andy Farnham. Anyway, we move on. You have to stay and watch the list, guys. Top 60 greatest sportsmen started a couple of days ago. We're now 56, 55 will be next shown in the next, today or tomorrow, whenever Phil decides to put it on there. But yeah, Kobe Bryant was 57 yesterday, and it made Macron happy. But it's my opinion, and that's what matters. And I believe that's about right. He's the 6th, 7th best basketball player of all time. Can't have him 20th with 7 basketball players in there, can I? For me, he's in about the right place. Got to remember, I watch American and British sports, so I have a bit of both sports in there. So I can't keep everyone happy. And just going on rumours, Sterling. Yeah, rumours today with Sterling. Jesus is a rumour, and that one from Lysek, is it in Kogo? Can't say his name. That's it. He's been linked with Chelsea as well. Just before we came on, I saw a link with that. So be interesting. I think Sterling would be a good move for Chelsea, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. And finally, Donny is Pony. I think Donny's a good player, Jay, actually. I think he's given opportunity. I'll show he is. Anyway, a couple more stories left to do. Bale to Cardiff or Getafe. We won't go long on this one. So apparently, Gareth Bale was offered to play for Getafe. That is according to the president of Getafe. You know, they make a lot
his
of
agent squashed that, didn't he, and said it was all bollocks.
Yeah, it was all bollocks because they lie. They're all
about saying he could stay in the area, a bit like staying in London.
Yeah, exactly.
Same sort of thing, isn't it?
The Cardiff link's not going away. Do you expect him to go to Cardiff?
The only thing with the Cardiff thing, they're in the Championship. He earns 600k a week now. Obviously, he's not going to get that at Cardiff because that is more than Cardiff's whole first team earning a week.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to do something to come in side financial.
I think he'll take 50. I think he'll take 50k. I think he's fine.
But what you've got to remember with Gareth Bale, he loves Wales more than anything, probably his own kids. So when you see the way he plays for Wales, even when he's like, but have you ever seen him miss an international game through injury?
No.
But he'll miss like 9 months for Real Madrid, but he'll make himself available for his country. So I think it's not about money for Gareth. It's about playing for Wales at the World Cup. He's born in Cardiff. I think when he grew up in Cardiff, didn't ever play for a Welsh club, but probably something.
I think it makes sense for him. I think he wants to end his career, maybe a season or two there, and go off in the sunset. And
well, when he came to Tottenham,
he's achieved everything he has to achieve. He's won everything he has to have won in football. But obviously, I know he didn't win anything in the Prem, but he went to Spain and he won the league. He won Champions League on 4 or 5 occasions. Yes, the fifth one.
He's played for Real Madrid 9 years and he's won the Champions League 5 times.
It's nuts. It's spot on. Yeah,
but it's true.
He doesn't have to prove anything. He doesn't have to. Like I said, he plays for Wales. He's got Wales to a World Cup. That's an achievement in itself. So, I think he's done everything he can do. I think he's perfectly settled and happy with himself to go and finish his career now in his hometown, maybe a season or two. And if he is at any level that we know he can be, he will score 30 goals in that league if he stays fit. Which he won't play 30 games. But let's just say he played every single game for Cardiff, he should get 30 goals.
I'm sorry. But I think that's why he'd go there, because when he was at Tottenham, people were thinking, he's just using this as a bloody holiday home so that he can stay fit and get fit and be close to the Wales setup. Where at Cardiff there isn't going to be a massive expectation on him because of who Cardiff are. So if he turns up and he doesn't play at his best, they're not going to get on his back because he's still going to be their player.
Exactly. I think he'll do well there. I think he's going Cardiff for me. I think obviously there's no doubt about that. I think anyone else would be a shock. I don't see him going anywhere else. Newcastle's always going to be linked. Will he want to go Newcastle? I don't think he will.
There'll be a lot of people going to that club this year as well, though. So you don't know who else they'll actually sign.
Yeah. If Jay's still watching, Jay was on here, Mako, just before you came commenting. He just came off. I only did the Ericsson part, but I'll read the question out. I think he is still watching. If Jay's still watching, would you take Hudson-Odoi from us? A guy I spoke to said Odoi would be interested in moving to the Bees. Interesting. See, Jay hopefully has seen that, and hopefully he does reply in the comment. While we wait for that, we'll just get to the final sort of news story, and it is Paul Pogba. Obviously, there was links to the Man City a few months ago, But now it looks very likely that he is going to Juve, though PSG and Real Madrid are still interested. Do you expect him to go to Juve, or do you think there could be another twist in the Pogba story here?
I was thinking like PSG was going to be the obvious one because it's all about money and the lifestyle he'd have there. But then Juventus makes perfect sense because that's where he had all his success and where he grew as a player. I know people knew he was at United, but he didn't really break into the first team at all. He played some Carling Cup games. Yeah. People knew he had a talent, but then he really, in his second season at Juventus, he became like the Paul Pogba everyone knew. So he's probably just thinking go back to where he had success. Probably liked the lifestyle out there as well, like the country. So probably still got property out there, so he could just move straight back in, I suppose.
Yeah, it'd be easy for him. He probably knows a few people there, and he probably. Yeah, but obviously PSG wouldn't be hard either because he's obviously French. So I think he'd understand there, and he'd probably know a few of the lads that play for the French team there or thereabouts. I think it's a sensible move. I think he's had enough of the British press. I don't think he wants to come back to the Premier League. I think he'll go and finish his career now in Italy. But then again, you look at someone like Patel, the Chilean lad, he played for everyone, and he was still playing for 33. So I wouldn't be surprised if Pogba did eventually go to Real Madrid at some point in a few years.
No, and Man United, they're buying back off Juventus for 60 million in a couple of years' time, even more money.
I think that'd be hilarious. So Pogba looks like he's going Juve. Not too much to talk about this one. It's a bit of an obvious one. He didn't achieve what he should have achieved at Man United. All right, Rob Pogba, I think he's a good player, but unfortunately, he's a bit of a dick. And I think the expectations and the demands were his downfall. So expect to see him even in Juve, PSG, or Real Madrid. Do you reckon it will be Juve, though, Phil?
Yeah, and I think he'll enjoy that extra time on the ball out there. Where they just like to knock it about a bit. That's his game. In the Premiership, it's more of a workmanship performance needed. He likes to just be that freelancer that can just spray the ball around, be great when he wants to be great, and do what he wants the rest of the game. He'll be allowed to do that at Juventus.
Okay, no worries. Before we go, no thanks for Adoy. How much are his wages at the moment? And Naka has responded saying 110, I believe, mate, but I'm sure he would have dropped these wages to move. 110, ha 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 ha. They'd have to drop to 40. Hudson-Odoi is shit, by the way.
You remember when
I just can't believe the hype about him. I don't understand the hype.
After 6 games for Chelsea, he was being touted for 50 million bid.
Bayern Munich made a 40 million bid for him. Yeah. They made a bid for him. I don't get where the excitement came. I've watched him play, and there's nothing about him that makes me think he's anything special. And this isn't. He would be a good player for Brentford because, of course, he would. I think he's good enough to improve there. I don't think he will go Brentford because he's got an ego. Loftus-Cheek struggles to move because he's not willing to remove his wages from 100,000. That's why he always goes on loan because no club are willing to pay his wages because he's arrogant. These players, you can't be on 100,000 and prove nothing. This is why a lot of these players go on loan because they're on stupid wages that Chelsea agree, or Man United and Arsenal, all these teams, not just Chelsea, there's loads of us. And then these players who aren't good enough, think they're good enough and won't move their wages. Hudson-Odoi will go, no, I want to be on the same wage. And he knows in his right mind that is not viable. Now, will he be good there? We'll see. Time will tell. I know Macca wants him out. He can't stand him. But
have you noticed, though, with players that come through youth setups at top teams, they always struggle because they always end up going back down in terms of clubs, and they struggle with that, where players that come up and go up the levels, you always see them go to that next level. Someone like Hudson-Odoi started basically at the top, and everywhere he goes now will be a backward step, and that's hard for him to actually accept.
It's just his arrogance. Like that's why a lot of these players struggle because they're on a big contract. Chelsea have offered 2 big contracts, and it's not just, like I said, not just Chelsea, but Chelsea as an example. They offer these younger players too much money early on, and then they think they're worth that, even if they're not performing. Now, let's say I went to a job and I earned 100k a year, I just got a big promotion, 100k a year. I didn't perform. They want to move me on to a smaller firm, and I go, okay, well, I want to be on 100k. No, you didn't perform. You've got to be on about 60 a year. That's it. That's how it should work. But these players go, no, I'm not willing to take a price drop. They can't get rid of the contract because it's too much money to pay out or get a payout. They can't release him. Stuck in, goes out on loan, does nothing. and the club wastes money, and they don't.
And when
sell
they give him
him,
this
no
big
one's
money,
willing to spend. And then once he goes for free, then he automatically has to go, okay, now I'm a free transfer. I have to sign for someone. Now I haven't got no bargaining tool. So, yeah.
but when they sign these big contracts early as well, what do the clubs think is going to happen at the next contract renewal? So they go, oh, here's 250k. Obviously, he's going to want more in 4 years' time, isn't he? Yeah. So there's no like it should be like going up in installments. Like, oh, here's 50k because you just come from the academy. Oh, you get 100k after 2 years. We give you bonus and add-ons, but it shouldn't be just you were just in the youth team a couple of weeks ago. You were in the first team. Here you go. Here's $500,000. It's silly at the top team sometimes.
It is. It's 100%. Yeah, Phil's only just been allowed out recently, Jay. Who's we? Yeah, so basically that's about it, really. Just a bit before we go, Tchouaméni has agreed to sign for Real Madrid from Bayern Monaco. I don't know specific how much, but I know it's over like 70 million. He's had 2 good years there, so I think he looks like he's going to, along with Kubisinga and Valverde, be their next midfield three, as Modric, Casemiro and Kroos are all getting on. Modric is 35. Kroos has been poor for a few years, and Casemiro, I think they want to move him on. I don't think he's that good. So this Tchouaméni, a lot of money, but he has impressed in the French league, and he will be officially confirmed in the next few days. Anything on that one, mate?
I think Real Madrid are just spending that money out of spite after what happened with the Mbappe deal. It's like they had all that money to burn. That got turned up. They were like, well, we're just going to go and buy everyone else's top because Liverpool wanted him.
Liverpool wanted him as well, yeah.
But they just went, right, if we can't get our man, someone else isn't getting theirs either.
Yeah.
That money was going to get spent regardless. Even if it was on Eddie Nketiah, they'd have spent it on someone.
Can they? Can someone take Eddie Nketiah, please? Please, someone take Eddie Nketiah. The fact people think it's a good move is absolutely beyond me. I don't understand why anyone would think that's a good move. Anyway, I digress. I carry on, and my arms are everywhere. They're everywhere at the moment. Fucking everywhere. Anything else you want to bring up? Any other rumours that you've seen or anything you want to bring up, mate? Anything on Palace or anything? That's no.
No, nothing really. I think we touched upon everything we brought up in the roundup. Yeah, just the first day of the window now, isn't it? So we'll see. Silly season's going to start. And I think it'll be quiet for a couple of days, and then it'll just all round stupidity happen. Newcastle will probably go out and buy like 11 players from absolutely nowhere, and then when all these players come in, because obviously our Spurs they're looking at St. Maximum. I've just seen in rumours, so again, I can't see him getting in their team. But if Newcastle go and sign like decent caliber players, is he even going to be able to start now?
Yeah, exactly.
If they buy another 5 fairly decent players, he's going to be struggling for game time, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Interesting times ahead. And
my
will continue.
Pick, Chris Wood's going out on loan.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah, find someone, and that'd be it. It'd be maybe back to Burnley in the Championship.
Yeah, probably. This is a show that we'll continue to try and do as much as possible. We've done 5 streams in 6 days or something like that. So we have done a record amount of streams recently. We will continue to do as many streams as possible, along with our pre-recorded stuff. I believe Newcastle season review will be up at some point in the next week. Blame the Bear for that, not me.
The new season.
Yeah, we'll get it up at some point. I did ask him 3 weeks ago. Hang on, there is one more comment. I'll get for that in a sec. Before we get to that, the top 60 greatest sportsmen told by me has come onto the channel, as I said earlier. So please like and subscribe, and also like them videos. Share them. We want to get them out. We've currently done 60, 59, 58, and 57. As referred to earlier, Kobe Ryan 57. The rest of the will come out within the next month. You'll hopefully have the full list within the next month. I'm not in charge of the upload, so I don't know when the next one's coming, but hopefully today or tomorrow, one or the other, and they will be on the channel. We will continue to do lives, as I said, transfer shows like this, and we will sometimes do individual teams, mainly Arsenal, Brentford, and Crystal Palace, with 3 teams that we will focus on a lot more. And I won't forget to do my best ever position podcast debates. We will try and get one done in the next few weeks. And the nearer we get to the end of July, the nearer we get to July, we will then start to do some preview videos. So me and Phil will do a prediction video for the table. I know we already did one, but that's way too early. That's the difference. And I'm sure we'll get some people on. We'll do a Brentford and an Arsenal preview show where we'll get me and some of the Arsenal fans, some of the Brentford fans, and we'll do some pre-recorded ones with people who are scared to come on the channel. And I'm sure we'll do a Crystal Palace one, and we'll try and get Rich on here as well. So loads coming up on Daddy and the Don. And before we go, transfer a rumour. Big Daddy's making a blockbuster move for Munsey to take over the live to replace to move from Munsey to take over the live shows to replace the Dons. He's not taking Munsey to replace me.
Munsey doesn't even present his own show. He's not going to present ours.
Munsey just that once every 2 weeks or something. Yeah, I've been on Munsey talks in ages, to be fair. I will
be banned like Ollie.
No, I've been asked to go on. I just kind of make a show he does. I will get back on there. Ollie the Lolly.
the Wally with the lolly.
The Wally with the lolly. And that's it, really, guys. I hope I got through everything. Any questions, please put in the comments and we'll answer them. Please like and subscribe. We appreciate the support. We'll continue giving you the best content we can give you. We'll hopefully be back soon with another transfer show. But for now, I'm the Don.
I'm Daddy.
Anything else you want to add, mate?
No, that's it. Been a good show. Got through all the meaty stuff. Seemed like a few people. How many people were watching?
We had 9 at the most at one time, but there's been a lot of flip-flopping. So we got down to 3 at one point, and we were back up to about 9. So we didn't have consistent numbers. 7 or 6 has always been the consistent number. So it's all right. It's an afternoon show.
Get Mark Hill back in the chat, don't we? Scare a few people.
We just need to get the right people. Anyway, we'll discuss this off live. Thank you very much. I don't know where David Burton was upset with him. I'm sure he'll come back.
I know, he was keeping us going for the last week, wasn't he?
Oh, David. I'm sure he'll watch this and he'll see the shout out. Come back, we need you. Anyway, thanks, Chris, Jay, Munsey, someone else committed. Rob Jones, where's he gone? I know, it's just 3 people. Oh, Andrew Murr. Thank you, Andrew Murr. Rob Brett. Oh, he's disappeared as well. Anyway, for now, I'll better press end. Thank you very much, and we will see you again next time here on Daddy and the Don.